seems that envy is my sin.
Oh, what's in the box? What's in the fucking box?
When dreams and reality collide, a life is turned upside down. Thrust into a conflict where ancient shadows fight secret wars. For control of the future. Her allies hide in plain sight. But so do her enemies.
I love it.
To Christopher Nolan, huh?
But you know, it brings in, it makes you feel it, you know?
Yeah, that was
it's the movie trailer thing, you know?
Yeah.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to What's in the Box. I am your host, DeathMetalHero, and with me, I have the legendary Michael Bancroft. What's up, sir? How are you today?
Great to be here, Luke. Great to be here. Thank you so much for doing this and the invite and everything.
Oh, absolutely, man. You know, we haven't gotten a chance to hang out a whole lot, you know, on Red Valkyrie and whatnot. But yours was actually an early book that I backed when I first got into this scene. So it's been really cool to see the early books, you know, that I jumped on back when this scene was kind of first starting, and to see them come to fruition. You know, it's great. You know, it's I don't know, it's exciting to be on that a part of that journey, I guess is what it is. You know,
the new wave, huh? I feel like we won't know for a while, but I feel like we could be living through a new kind of golden age, like a revival of comic books, and if that ends up coming to fruition, how cool is that to be a part of it?
Right. I mean,
whether you're
amazing.
A reader or a creator or both or whatever. It's like you can say, like, in 50 years, I was there when that all kicked off. I was part of that.
I watched this happen. I watched this landscape change. You know, and it's in comics. It's done that before. I mean, the indie scene in the '80s, the black and white comics. You know, the indie comics back then. Like that was a creative boom back then. We got the Ninja Turtles out of that. You know. And the only thing
they didn't have was the internet and the reach. You know, they could only go as far as their distribution channels would allow.
Yeah.
So I'm sure more people would have wanted to have read the original Ninja Turtles, but how could they? Because they didn't live in any kind of proximity to the creators. Now,
that's right. Yeah.
Now we're global.
Yeah, because you're all the way across the globe. Like, all the way on the other side of the globe, and we're sitting here having a conversation.
And not only am I across the other side of the globe, I'm sitting here living on a prison island. So, you know, this is coming out of a prison. And, you know, we can still read and enjoy and talk about comics, even through all that.
Well, that's amazing. I'm glad that we still have that, you know, comics. Unifier.
Something.
Unifier. Yeah, gotta have something, you know. We got a lot of people hanging out in the chat this evening. Thank you all so much for coming to hang out with us this evening. Matt LaRock says, that is a killer cover. Great foreshortening. What's up, 24 Eyes? Yeah. Welcome, Flying Feline. Skull. What's up, Frog G? Thank you very much for coming, guys. Hey, we got a Michael Bancroft in the chat as well.
Who's that guy?
I don't know, man. But thanks for coming to hang out. What's up? Oh, it's Chubb. What's going on, dude? How you doing, man? Ain't seen you in a minute.
We're gonna have Chubb on the show next week.
That's awesome. I cannot wait for the next Merry Boys. Those first two were so good.
We can actually do something pretty cool. We're figuring it all out still, but
all right.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
Excellent. What's up, Pale Rider? Thanks for coming to hang out. And we got an Eric the Guapo. What's going on, Eric? So, what was the first comic that you ever read, or that you remember having an impact on you? Like, what was?
I usually have it here with me, but the kids have it now. It's a kids comic. We were going on a train. I would have been young, 8, 7, something like that. And my mother said, "You can go." They had a whole thing of books at the train station. You know, for kids, it's kids to read on long trips because it was a long interstate train station. And I picked up The Great Gazoo with Fred Flintstone comic, and it was old. It was it was from the 60s by then, so it was beaten up. So it was just a total you read it and throw it around. I gave it to my daughter. She loves it. I read it to my son. He loves it, and we still have it. The first
that's amazing.
Another one I've got. Oh, man, I wish I'd known that you were going to ask me this because I usually keep it right here. Actually, is that it? That's it. That's it right there. So, but that was when I was 7. I didn't get into comics after that, though. I loved that comic. But my friends would have been shit's falling everywhere. Sorry about that. Would have been about 11 when my friends all of a sudden got into comics. They were reading Iron Man, G.I. Joe, X-Men, and this is when you could walk into any news agent, which I guess is like a newsstand in the States.
Yeah.
And there'd be an entire section dedicated to Marvel, DC, local comics, everything. So I went in there.
Oh, even local comics.
Yeah, even local. Australian
That's
made
awesome.
UK comics like Judge Dredd. It was crazy. It was like a mini, not mini. I mean, it was quite large.
That's fantastic.
It was, it took up an entire thing.
Yeah.
Of comics, like a comic book shop in there.
Like an actual wall for
get Wizard.
Comics. Yeah.
Get Wizard in there. You get all sorts of stuff. So I was like,
that's
all right,
fantastic.
I just went in there not knowing anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought I'd pick up just one comic that was that looked the best to me, and it was this one right here.
Yeah.
Web of Spider-Man 83.
I mean, it's an eye-catching cover.
Quite red. Yeah. I mean, that just looked really cool. And obviously, every kid loves Spider-Man, so at least I knew Spider-Man.
Oh, totally.
And I went back for 84, and I collected all of the webs, and then I went back and I bought all the ones I didn't have, and then I went back and I bought all the Peter Parkers. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get all the Amazings. They're pretty expensive. But so that was the first comic that got me into comics.
Who who did the cover? Is the name on the cover?
That is Marinan and Hudson.
Not familiar.
Not familiar with them.
Great cover,
Web of Spider-Man had a bit of a high churn of artists and cover artists. Not like Amazing, which was Mark Bagley at the time.
Oh yeah. I was actually picking up a lot of Bagley's run. I mean, he worked on it for a long time, but I remember his version of Venom. Was actually one of my favorite versions of Venom because he was like big and bulky, but he was still lean despite being bulky.
Everyone is very sinewy and muscular. Like there's no body fat in Mark Bagley's life. But hey. I was reading comics. I was getting into Spider-Man. I was like, this is great. This is a whole new thing, and then my friends were reading their books. We were all like, we didn't really share books because I wasn't really into Iron Man or G.I. Joe. Right. They went into Spider-Man, but at least we were like into Marvel and, we were collecting Marvel cards. Within a couple of months, I don't know, maybe 6 months or whatever it was, they launched Carnage and that whole Carnage run. And so that was my introduction to comics and Spider-Man. How cool is that? When I think back, how lucky I was.
Man, that's a hell of a time to jump into comics and be just getting into it.
And also, Spawn launched at that time too. And that was, talk about, whoa, I walked into the thing one day to see if there's any new comics, and there's Spawn on the shelf. Like, what is this? And it was so crazy. I remember there were news reports, they had to get it off the shelves. They tried to ban it because, we're Australians and that's what we do, because, it was full of, naughty stuff and gore, and kids like me were getting influenced by it.
Oh no, Paris!
I loved it. I ended up collecting Spawn as well.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. Carnage came out around the same time as Spawn. I wonder if Carnage was a bit of a reaction to Spawn. Because Todd created Venom.
But I don't know the exact timeline. But I went back and I bought those first Todd McFarlane Venom books.
Oh yeah,
they were pretty expensive. Good stuff. Good memories. It didn't last a whole long period of time because Marvel kind of went to hell in the mid-90s.
They did end up going bankrupt by the early 2000s, or filing for Chapter 11. I remember that. So
I was a young teen. To buy comics, I had to. My mother would give me $1.20 to catch the bus to go to school every day. So I would pocket that and walk. And it's 40-minute walk every day there and back. And then by the end of the month, you've got $25 or whatever it is to buy comic books, new comics.
Oh hell yeah!
So when they started, this is the story, but if you want to continue, you've also got to buy West Coast Avengers and this X-Men book and this book, and I'm like, hang on, I've only got so much money I can spend here. So it just kind of drove me away from it. I get what they were doing, but it was bad business in my mind. So
I agree, and it's a thing that they actually continue to this day. Oversaturation of crossover events is. I literally had some dude come in and complain about it today because he couldn't figure out where to go from this certain thing, with the X-Men, the Dawn of the X, and like, where do I go from here? I'm like, well, you've got all these titles, and they all kind of cross over. So if you want the complete story,
it's so
you have
messed
to get them
up
all.
now. It's so messed up. When I jumped into that Web of Spider-Man 82, okay, I have a lot of history to learn, but you pick it up pretty quickly, and this is something that's key that no longer exists. As an 11-year-old, I could jump in at Web of Spider-Man 82. I can continue on the story. If I wanted to read back, I could go and buy back issues, which I did.
Yep.
And I learned the story of Spider-Man. I learned how he used to be a teenager back in the old days, and slowly over the decades, he grew up. He became a young man. He got, he lost Gwen Stacy. He found Mary Jane. They reconnected. They got married. He became an adult, and that's when I came into it. Peter Parker was an adult. I don't know exactly what age he was, but he was married, living with Mary Jane, and there was a continuous story going all the way back to Amazing Fantasy. It was a canon line,
and it was awesome.
And that's gone now. So now if you a young kid want to get into Spider-Man, it's like, where do you start? Well, there's this, but then there's changed that, and there's a multiverse, and you got to go. And now he's sort of a bit like this. He's a teenager again now. He's a young man living in an apartment. We're like, what? No.
Exactly.
No.
Yeah, it was, it's been rough watching the industry change, because I work in my childhood comic shop. Like, most of my collection has come from the shop I work in. Like, I literally used to go to a private school that was a parking lot away from the shop. I'd sneak over. It was a Christian private school, so I'd sneak over there on my lunch break and I'd buy my comics, and then I'd hide them in my backpack and hot foot it back to class, and I wouldn't touch them until I left school, because I knew if they saw them, I'd never get them back. Because comics were the devil, Debil, devil,
the devil,
devil. That's Southern. That's a little Southern for you, devil. Yeah,
that's something new.
But yeah, it's been something new every day. I don't know. Feel free to delete that one. That's a Southernism. Anyway, it's been hard watching. I don't know. It's been hard trying to pitch these books to people, I guess is what it is. Because when I'm excited about something, I can pitch the book. I can get people excited about it because I'm excited to read it. I don't know if you saw the video that I posted on Twitter, like the indie comics, like the indie books. I've been doing like deep dives in previews and finding, little gems here and there to try out, right? When I'm excited about something, I can pitch it to my customers, they get excited. When I'm not, it makes it really hard to turn them on to something. I really want to help them find something they want to read, but if the stories aren't there, then I can't really, in good conscience, say, yeah, you want to pick this up. I mean, if you like the character, go ahead.
You're like my guy at my local who, he's a great guy. It's a couple, a married couple. They're great people.
Awesome.
Love them. But I just had to kind of leave all that stuff behind because you're right. It's so hard to invest in characters that just you don't know. There's no continuity, or there's the continuity is being messed with. Every time a new team comes on, the canon is completely incomprehensible now. It's really hard to invest, and you could kind of hear them. So they would, when they would tell me something new's coming in, it would be like, oh, it's got this artist on it. Oh, it's got this writer on it, and he did a really good job on this one. It's not so much this is going to be a great run or anything, and that never interested me. I knew Mark Bagley, I knew Todd McFarlane, but other than that, I didn't really care who was writing it or who was drawing it when I was a kid. It was just, is it cool? Is it awesome? Is this a character I can invest time and money in? And without that, we know what's happening.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when we were picking up Spider-Man around that time, like you were excited to pick up the next issue. You wanted to know what was going to happen. You were, like you said, invested in the story. And I honestly hear a lot from my customers that, some of them are just picking up stuff just because they've been picking it up. They have the whole run of this, They've been picking up this specific character since 19-aught whatever, and they keep going, and it's like, okay, well, I understand that, but stories, the stories matter. And, and that's what I absolutely love about what we're doing in CG. Oh, wait, I gotta black out the addresses. Crap. Well, so much for my smooth segue, but that's honestly this is almost there.
You almost had it.
Yeah,
it was at least you tried.
Yeah, there was an attempt. But that's what I love about this entire scene is that we have passion in what we're doing, and the people that are making this stuff. They're not just in it for a paycheck. They are in it to. There we go. That worked better than the marker.
Rip that thing off.
That's
You're
right.
totally right. We may not all be the best artists working in comics. We may not all be the best writers working in comics, but the fact that we hear in the independent scene, and even in Comics Gate, where we've kind of cordoned ourselves off from others, one way or another. Not because we want to be.
Yeah, not really by any choice of our own.
Us off.
Yeah.
You have to have passion. There's no way you can do this because you're in it for a buck. If you were to figure out your hourly, even if you had $100,000 campaign, if you figure out your hourly rate there, it's not. It's not anything that you couldn't otherwise just go get at a normal office job. You got to want to do this. So, we may not be Frank Miller or Todd McFarlane, but man, we have passion and drive, and it's really important that these are all creator-owned stuff, and our whole reputation and concept and creativity is on the line in each and every book that we put out.
Absolutely. You got skin in the game. You don't have a big corporation backing you, to just cover up the lack of sales. This is DIY or die, You rise and fall based on the merits of what you create, And it's also about, building that audience, having, finding the people, finding that audience, as you're building, your story, you're building your, your world, you build your audience, you find the people that are, yeah. I honestly don't even remember what I bought. So this is going to be like Christmas.
Looks like it came okay too. Some of those big ones got a bit bent, but yours looks like it's in good nick.
I was very happy to see that because my post office has not been reliable recently. So
yeah, forget about it. Neither of ours. Well, actually, our post office is closing down. I think it's closed down right now for 6 days or something, so they can catch up on orders.
Oh wow, behind.
It's nuts down here. Well, we're all locked down, so everyone is getting everything via the internet. It's like let's just change the entire way our country works over the course of a few months, and at the same time stand down a whole bunch of people. It doesn't really make much sense.
No, there's a lot of things in the world that don't really make much sense right now. But, at least you guys can still get the stuff that, still create and ship out stuff. I mean, look at this. Arrived beautifully from all the way.
These packages are so good. You see those little, dents and stuff on the corners. I mean, the content in the middle is nowhere near that. It's really, really clever design, these boxes. Now, we may have over-taped them. We were just wanting to be so curious. Because there's tape and then there's glue. So you're going to have to really,
you're going to make me work for it. I see how it is. Yeah. All right. All right, well, I'm glad I got it here on the board.
Me out on this. It's like, if you're going to glue it so that I can't even open it, why are you also taping it?
Well, somebody gets handsy with the box, something gets snagged. You never know. You keep those edges down. That way it doesn't accidentally get, stuck on something. I totally get it. Little packaging paranoia never hurt anybody.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Better safe than sorry. But
absolutely.
I think next time what we might do, maybe not for these big ones, but for the smaller ones that we sent out, we might just do because obviously the adhesive glue comes on the box, but then we might just put them in a nice like branded bag or something like that.
Oh yeah,
quite like them.
Jimmy Reyes with Page One Comics.
He did that as well. That's where I saw it.
They came. It was beautiful. I actually held on to the bags. I was like, these are kind of neat. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I'm going to hold on to it for a little bit. At least one. Yeah, he came. He and Anna came on the show. All right. Oh, no escape. Oh, all right. Didn't quite get all the tape, apparently. While you guys watch me fumble with the package.
It's a nice looking knife you've got there.
Oh, thank you. It was given to me by a friend. He got it on a military base, I believe. So it stays in the studio or in the library, so I can open boxes with it. Yeah, it needs to be cleaned. And oh yeah.
Wow. Oh, look, we even taped up the inside too. That was because we didn't want the things flopping around too much. There's the book.
Oh, it's beautiful.
So you got to post it in there as well, so you'd get that one out too.
Oh yeah. Let's see. Easiest way to do this. Oh, so it pops open like that.
Yeah, but we taped it, so because we wanted to make it hard on you.
Oh yeah, well hey, I'm willing to work for it. It's all right. I see how it is.
Now, having said, I have annoyed a few people with the over taping, but having said that, we've received one damaged book, that needed to be returned. That we need to send a new one out of all of them that we sent. Just one.
That's awesome. Oh wow.
So, that seems to be a pretty decent return
and
on
look
investment.
At that reveal. Look at that. Dude, that's gorgeous.
Okay. Came out great, didn't it?
Wow. Dude, that came out great. Yeah. Ha! And look at the corner right down here. Just barely got the bottom of it. Hell yeah. I approve of the mailer. It done did good, man. There's another Southernism for you. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, we were freaking out because you can't get Geminis down here.
Really?
But then Clayton Barton from How to Draw Comics,
Yeah.
he found these. They were designed to ship art prints, and they come in all different sizes, which is great. You know, they even come in record sizes. You know, for vinyl.
Oh, no kidding.
And so they've been a godsend. So we were so happy when we found them.
Yeah, did the job nicely. Nice and sturdy. And you know, it looks good when it shows up. Ooh, look at that. Yeah.
Someone asked Mark why she hasn't been added to the big Comicsgate poster that he's got going, and he said, "Oh, I've got such bad OCD. I would need her to be facing the same direction as everyone else." But I'm actually going to hire him to do a whole new range of stickers for the second book. So
awesome.
You know, maybe he'll include them.
And you know, I knew he was going to say it's because she's facing the wrong way. I knew it.
Yeah.
Because just looking at it, I mean, even if
I get it,
even if he flipped it, you know.
But then her body would be if he flipped it, her body would be facing the wrong way. So yeah, I get it. I get it. He couldn't make it work. I completely understand. That's okay. We can commission.
Great sticker though. Love it.
So good. You know, you can pour water right on them. They're like almost vinyl.
Wow.
It's they're really top quality.
Yeah, they are. That feels nice. See, I'm gonna have to get like a book or like a cover of a book or something like that, and put all the different 6 a.m. stickers that I've gotten from the various campaigns.
How awesome would that look? I mean, if you've got the man cave, you know, you could make a wall of them even.
Yeah, there's a lot of cleaning I need to do. And the hand.
The ginger root hand.
The ginger root hand.
I love that. I love how that came out. It was so
That's
worth
awesome.
it.
This is going on the fridge.
So worth it.
Yeah. This is going on the fridge.
Thank you. And then that's what, like that's another great thing. Do a magnet, goes on the fridge. You know, it doesn't just sit in a box somewhere. Doesn't get stuck on something that you don't see every day. It's right there. Every time you go for a beer, the ginger root hand is reaching out towards you.
The ginger root hand says, "Hand me a beer."
Yeah.
Wow. That is beautiful, man, that cover.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
I want to take a look at these.
Really happy with how everything came out. It was a struggle.
Oh, yeah?
I'm not gonna lie. It was a real struggle to get all this printed, get all the quantities of everything. But in the end, it's all worth it.
Yeah, these prints are beautiful, man. I don't know if the camera... Oh, there's a hefty glare. I don't know if the camera...
Russ Leach for getting me onto, the right specs and everything for what he did for his prints. Because they were like the best prints I'd ever received. So I said, I got to have mine be exactly the same as yours.
Oh, wow. Wow. Dude, that is wicked cool. I don't think I've ever seen this image.
Yeah, I did that. If you backed early, which I think you did, I did that at, I think, around, I don't know, like a month in or something. It was one of the stretch goals I did. Oh. And so, it wasn't on the campaign day one.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really like that piece. You know what,
man.
There's a because that's sort of not that exact scene, but him manipulating the water like that is actually in the book. And the way I first drew it, the very first time, it looked nothing like that, and I wasn't happy with it. I just didn't have the skill to do that. So when I realized, I actually can do this now, and then I'm going to make a print of it, and I drew this, and I was so happy with it. I went back and redrew it in the book to sort of be closer to this.
It turned out great, man. This is a powerful image. I love all the motion, like the swirling around and the.
I like how
almost
you can
almost a
see
helix.
his yeah. You can see his legs through the water too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, all this stuff, I see this stuff from other better artists. I see how they're doing it, and I just go, "Oh, I'm stealing that." All right,
Well, I mean,
that's a good technique.
That's how we get better, man. We
Yeah.
learn from each other. We a rising tide lifts all boats. If you see something that another artist does and it blows you away, learn how they did it. I mean, what's the point of being jealous of it?
I referenced a lot of like I was looking at a lot of Aquaman and Namor stuff. Like how did these guys draw water with it? Black.
Yeah, make it convincing
and make it look like it's moving. So
and handle the shadows through. Yeah, this is a beautiful image, man. I love the colors on it too.
Thank you. Oh man, the colors were. I had to print this thing 6 or 7 times to get the colors well. The first time I came back, it was just such a disappointing moment because what you've got on the screen, especially, and I've learned a lot about pre-press and printing and all that sort of stuff, especially with greens and blues. Now, if you want green and blue together, just forget about it. So the fact that I was able to tweak this and get it done in a way that I was really happy with it, that was cool that it actually all worked out in the end.
That's beautiful, man. Yeah, I mean, and it's green and blue seems to be a color scheme theme throughout.
Yeah, I did want that. That was an intentional thing to have a kind of I don't necessarily a palette, but just sort of like a running kind of theme, scheme, I suppose, or whatever throughout the campaign.
Well, it's a color language. It's a consistent color language throughout. It adds a consistency. You know what I mean? It kind of helps ground the reader in the experience. Gives an anchor point. Yeah,
people have called that. That's like a lucent blue. That green blue.
I like it. And then here's the classic image of the cover without the trade dress. This is such a cool image, man. And the what do they call this? Spot UV? Is that what this is?
Yeah.
The spot UV really, really sends that. Okay, now you can glare, light. Come on. Oh, now you don't want to.
Get the glare going. Yeah, and this it took me a really long time to kind of conceptualize this cover. I wanted something that, brings in sort of there's multiple perspectives. Is it a reflection? Are you looking at her? I wanted to sort of like it's sort of a mystery in and of itself. And when the first thing you see her kind of, is she flying towards you? Is she falling? And then you realize, oh, this is actually, I'm looking down at the ground and this is a reflection. This is a puddle. So it's actually happening, like all this sort of stuff. And then the whole point of it was, oh, well, it needs a spot UV on the mat, which I love. I love that effect. And I remember when I had that costed and my heart sank. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to need like 300 backers or something. This is a disaster. Because without that UV spot, it's like half the concept is gone.
I hear you, man. It really sells it. I mean, looking at the image by itself, the colors, the color choices, the contrast, the line work definitely sells the concept. The spot UV on this really pushes it to it's almost, I guess, kind of dare I say, fourth wall breaking, because it's affecting in this reality. You know what I mean?
The point of it, like Eric Canetti did that as well with the cover on one of his covers, where everyone is kind of looking right at the viewer, and it draws you just right into the book. And I wanted to include you, the person holding the book, into the cover, because that's this story is all about this sort of it's a mystery, it's a puzzle, and a big part of the experience of the book is, you're solving the puzzle as you go as the reader. So I'm really couldn't be happier with the cover. And I think it kind of sets the tone of the story, like the pacing and what you're going to find in it. And obviously, introduces
100%.
Ella.
This is a what I know of the story. This is a great choice for the cover image. You were talking about pulling the reader in. I mean, this literally almost looks like a hand out pulling you into the story. And
that is my wife's hand. I was like, I don't think I can draw this hand, from just sight unseen. I need something to reference here. I need a woman's hand. I need to know exactly how the lines and everything. Because if it's small in a comic, just on the interior page, you can get away with it. It's not necessarily have to be perfectly anatomically correct. But if it's right there, front and center on the cover, I want this to be. So I actually had Mel, do something like that, so I could see, how does these bits here fold and where are the lumps and bumps and everything. So that's my wife's hand immortalized.
That's awesome. Apparently, Eric questions my taste.
Yeah, Eric hates these covers, and I look.
The spot UV. Okay.
He does not like the concept or the look and everything, and that's you can't please everyone. Everyone has their own tastes, and I do understand more with the preview cover. I mean, it is just a very standard, a couple just kind of standing there, kind of cover,
and it's kind of a regular style floppy.
The fact that I was already late and getting later because of the printing issues.
Right.
I made a call to use this cover. I don't know if you know this. I used to actually release this on Webtoon back in the day, before it was like remastered and recolored and everything. You don't really need covers on a web comic, so I never really had covers. So I would have like an image like that, just something that you would put up as as a marketing thing. So that's why that is. And I thought, like, I really want to get this thing out. If I I'm going to spend another week or two if it doesn't go well, making a new cover for this preview comic. I thought it was better off to just get it to the printers. I think that proved out to be a good decision, because printing that preview comic was an absolute nightmare, and it took me about a month and a half longer. And I printed it 4 times through 4 different printers.
Oh Lord.
I found out that maybe it's not the best idea to print a 12-page comic book. They're so fragile. It's so easy to get them wrecked and things to go wrong with them.
Oh wow!
We got there in the end, thankfully.
I feel lucky that mine's in pristine condition.
All the ones that we sent out were the good ones, but so many hit the bin. It was very painful. Cost a lot of money, cost a lot of time.
Yeah. I mean, were they bad to the point where you couldn't give them out on as like a free comic book day thing at your local store?
I've made the decision not to distribute any of the damaged copies.
Okay,
I'm just going to destroy them. Yeah. I know some people do give them out and sell them, but I've always just been really hyper focused on putting backers first. People who paid for them. There'll be plenty of time in the future. I'm not going anywhere.
Right.
These books can be, we can do reprints and everything. There'll be plenty of time in the future to put out, compilation copies and whatever, and get them out cheaper and more people and whatever, all that sort of stuff. So I thought, no, the reason they did these campaigns was to serve backers. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm not putting out any of the damaged books. But yeah, man, a lot of these. The first time we had this thing printed, pages were stuck together.
Oh no!
They put them together while the ink was still wet, and you'd open them and they'd pop because all the ink would. Oh man, it was a disaster.
Oh,
and they've refunded me the printing cost, but not the shipping cost. It was just.
Yeah. Yeah, it's usually how that go, unfortunately. Yeah. So the preview book, is it the preview of what's to come next, or is the preview book before this? Okay. Yes. So this, then
Waking
this.
Dream is the first book. Painted Death, it will be the follow-up book. And that is a 12-page selection of 12 pages of taken from Painted Death. And I'm not going to give you any spoilers here, but the Waking Dream book ends on a sort of quasi cliffhanger, and then this Painted Death preview kind of gives you what would have immediately happened after that moment. It's sort of like a balm, because I know people. I mean, I get it, cliffhangers.
Well,
so it's sort of like a little bit extra, just to kind of soothe that burn.
Just a little taste, a little taste for the next one.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so let's take a look. That's the inside here. Not gonna spoil anything, because you guys need to go out and get it.
Well, that's a cool thing about my book. It's really difficult to spoil it, because it really is a puzzle. And the more times you read it, the more you understand it. But people have read it, and they're just like, I just not understand anything that's happening here. But that's kind of the point of it for me, and that's why we've had this sort of long-running joke on my channel. Like, what is the Lucent? Who are the Lucent? Where are the Lucent? All this sort of stuff, because it is supposed to be a kind of a mystery thriller. The way these books are written is, once you've read the second book, you can go back and read the first book again for the first time. Where
I like that.
These things that you've read, you can see them in a whole new light. Things that were mysterious before, now all of a sudden you have another piece of the puzzle. Oh, that makes sense in a whole new way that I couldn't possibly have known. And I love that kind of storytelling.
Me too. It's that's one of the things about reading a series that you're invested in, is that as you go on, things get revealed or added to the character, and they're impactful because they call back to things that have happened to that character already. That's how you build the lore. That's how you build the mythos. That's how you build the connection with your audience and your readers. This is beautiful, man. I am digging these pages.
Thank you. Yeah. So these are the first ever pages that I drew of any comic. I went from being a t-shirt designer. I mean, I've always done art, and I did digital painting and drawing and stuff. I used to trace Spider-Man back in the day. But when I decided that I was going to turn my story into a comic, into a graphic novel, and at that time, I wasn't reading Western comics at all. When I say Western, sorry, American comics. I was reading European comics.
Oh yeah.
So really heavily influenced by that kind of look and all that sort of stuff, and storytelling, and I'm totally blanking of where I was going with that. But
European comics. European comics is a different style, different feel.
Different style, different look. So these pages are some of the first pages that I ever drew. Now, when I decided, all right, I'm going to print this into a physical copy, my art progressed, had progressed by then a fair amount. I'd learned a lot. I always make sure when I set down a new page that there's something on the page I've never drawn before. So I have to go out and figure out how to draw that. I have to do a bit of research. How have other people drawn this before me? And I find that's a really way to kind of improve on the job, so to speak.
Absolutely.
And, so when I went back, I looked at
drawing by necessity.
Yeah, a lot of these figures and faces, they don't really cut it, so they had to kind of be redrawn. And then when I also spent, I was never happy with my colors. I was never happy with my colors originally, so I spent, on and off a good 8 months in 2019.
Yeah,
just watching any coloring tutorial I could on YouTube and really digging into the theory
Oh yeah.
The methods, you know, how to set a tone, how to build atmosphere, how to use it to help readability and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And that's still obviously very much an
It
ongoing
shows.
journey. But
I love this page.
Yeah, man. So I spent a long time remastering these colors.
Well, then hats off to you, man, because the the scene beforehand, you know, with you know the color palette, you know, it's very very restricted. You know, it's in a certain area of the color wheel, but then all of a sudden, red and bright red, and then more bright red. You know, it draws the eye, and it makes impact. You know. And this is using our medium to its fullest extent. Like, you know, that we are unique in that we can do something like this. The pacing, the use of color. I mean, you can do this in film, but you know, something like this has tremendous impact when it's drawn like this, and you can go back and rewatch it over and over again. You know,
there's so many things that I'm learning about that you can really only do in comics. There are some restrictions, but they're not many. It really is, I feel, one of the best and most versatile storytelling mediums. The only the big downside to it is it takes so long to freaking create. But
man, that is a beautiful image, man.
It's really happy, And that's sort of like the introduction to the main character in the present day. So I thought it needed a big grand entrance.
Well, and you know the cool thing about digital, you know, I mean, you could totally paste up these boxes here, you know, and you know have drawn this image out traditionally, but that's one of the beauties of digital. You can just hide that layer, and there you go. You got your entire image for a beautiful print. Yeah, easy.
Yeah, thank God for digital. A page like that,
I
could not do traditionally. I just couldn't do it. And this is, you set in the parameters in Clip Studio Paint, the perspective, and then the rulers will guide you. People really marvel over my backgrounds, and I'm really appreciative of that. But to me, that's sort of like that's the relaxing kind of. I don't say it's easier because it is time consuming and you got to put in a lot of effort into it. But it's buildings are buildings. Apart from that stupid curved one, which I don't know, I would never do again.
Never again with a curved building. Never. Yeah. No domes.
Yeah. Apart from that, all the lines they follow the perspective, whether it's 2 point, 1 point, 3 point, whatever you do.
Yeah.
And then you just go at it and just until it's where it needs to be. And I love the backgrounds. I love doing them. I love settling down. All right, we're going to do a really cool background today.
I need to get into backgrounds. I need to start drawing more backgrounds because that's the one thing I really never do. I mean, you have to when you're working on something, but I never think to myself, yes, I'm going to specifically draw backgrounds unless I need it for a scene.
When it comes to world building and Easter eggs and all that sort of stuff, I mean, that's where you put it all.
Exactly. And, something like this would not have the impact that it does. It wouldn't, I mean, you wouldn't be able to tell the story without the backgrounds that they're interacting with, This is beautiful stuff, man. I cannot wait to sit down and read this whole book. I am wicked excited. So how many pages are we looking at? I can't remember.
So the main story in Waking Dream is 60 pages long.
Okay.
There's a 14-page what do you call it, kind of supplemental part of the book, which is sort of a it's kind of a my take on a character bio at the end. But instead of character bios, they're character interviews, and it's sort of like you do like writing technique stuff.
Yeah,
where you kind of flesh out your characters.
Absolutely.
I thought, well, I've done that a fair bit. I'll draw that too and put it into the book, and hopefully, people will get a bit more of an idea of the characters, and I can put in lots of Easter eggs about the mystery and stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, people are really, I didn't know how that would go down at all, because it kind of looks a bit Tom King-ish at the end, but it's not that hyper deconstructed storytelling thing where you're getting every minute movement on a 9-panel page. It's not that, but it kind of looks like it. So people really responded well to that. And then so there's, all in all, I think that book ends up, the main book, and
hope it's not my internet. You're, at least for me, you broke up a little bit. Chat, can you guys still hear him? Yeah, you broke up just a little bit.
Australian internet.
Well, I mean, sometimes the internet here in Florida is not all that great.
Potato internet.
Well, we get swamp creatures taking the internet down. Those
gators churning on the cables.
Oh my God, man! We actually, seriously, in my town, there was a guy that robbed a house and was running away from the cops. Tried to run through the swamp, got eaten by a fucking gator.
I believe it.
They deputized the gator and then they shot it.
Gator eating a gator.
Oh yeah,
going around on Twitter.
Yeah. Okay, so how many of these 80? Well, I guess total of 80 pages it says on the thing. How many of these?
I can keep going for as long as I want. That's the way that I've built the world out. It's sort of, I always liken it to Star Wars. That Star Wars is a big universe where you can pretty much go anywhere you want that's interesting.
Okay.
But then you've got the Skywalker Saga. And whether or not you take that as, from the Phantom Menace to, what was the last thing? I can't even remember now. Whatever it was. Or to Return of the Jedi. Whatever it is.
Return of the Jedi is where the Skywalker Saga stops.
That's where I think it stops as well.
Yes.
And... but the point is, like, this is the Ella Forsyth saga within the greater universe. Now, I think I can finish all of that, within 6 books. But I'm cognizant of people, thinking, well, that's going to take a long time, and it certainly is. So I do try and I will be trying to give a lot more sort of like, the sort of subplot arcs and stuff, or some resolutions within those, so that there are more contained stories within each one. But I think, all in all, for this main thing, 6 books, it might balloon out to 7, depending on, how well it's received and everything.
Yeah.
But I've got side stories. The great thing about this story is it starts 3800 BC. And it goes all the way up to the present. There's a lot of things that happen throughout history that is affected by what's happening in this story. I can go to medieval England. I can go to Rome, ancient Rome. I can go to the 1700s, wherever. There's so many cool things that happen throughout history that can be affected by the characters that are established in this main book. So, man, I got ideas. I got ideas for days. It's
Tales from the Lucent. That's awesome. Yeah. You got an entire universe. I mean, you've obviously spent time building this world. That reminds me, how long has this story been kicking around in your head? Like, how long has this story been percolating?
It was in my head before The Matrix came out. And when The Matrix, and you probably see, like, there's a lot of inspiration here from The Matrix. When The Matrix came out, that was like fire lit. Okay, I'm talking about the first movie. I really was inspired by what they were doing with that. And I thought, okay, I want to make my own story. I've got this idea in my head, this premise. So it goes all the way back to then. Now, I started to sit down and actually write in 2009, and I was just writing. I wasn't necessarily writing a novel. I wasn't writing, definitely wasn't writing a comic. I wasn't writing a script. I was just writing, and I wrote somewhere between 150 to 200,000 words, just fleshing out scenes and characters and all sorts of stuff. But I mean, all of that stuff, throw it in the bin. That was me just learning how to write.
Yeah.
and learning about crafting stories and just fleshing out characters. So, that sort of started in 2009. I started to really turn it into a graphic novel in 2014. And it's been a kind of on and off thing since then. But 2019, 2020, that's when I've been doing this every day, and
That's
I've got
fantastic.
I've got 4 books written. I've
Wow.
I've got 6 now. I say 6 or 7. The final book is the big. That's the Return of the King. How big it gets. It's still up in the air.
You gotta be honest with the story. You gotta tell the truth with the story. And if it's a big story, you gotta tell it properly.
If by then I've only got a couple of hundred people who really care about it, maybe okay, I'll just do a really long final issue. If it's just going crazy and crazy, give the people what they want.
Absolutely.
We'll make it as absolutely big, and as many campaigns as we need. I'm not locked into anything like that, but especially ever since Comicsgate started, I've just been in this thing gung ho. I wake up first thing I think in the morning is like, okay, what am I doing today? Like, what's the task today? Whatever it may be, and that's the last thing I'm doing before I go to bed. At the end of the night, I'm out there on the couch doing art with Mel. That's our like couples time. So I'm drawing.
That's cool though, man. It's you got she's your partner. She's got your back.
Mel is totally 100% on board with this, and she's sort of actually become part of we're kind of a team out there. Whenever people thank me, they usually thank her too, because she did all of the fulfillment of this. So that I could continue working.
Hail Mel! She did a fantastic job.
Yeah, amazing, just absolutely amazing. She's really involved in it, and she's hanging out in the chats. People get to know her. It's really become a team effort, and I think it's going to have to be, if this is going to become something that I can consider doing, on a more full-time basis. That this would sort of become our business. All of that depends on how the second book is received, how it goes. But my profile has grown significantly since I launched this. How significantly that is remains to be seen. We'll find out when we launch Painted Death.
Yeah. Well, I mean, all you can do is tell the story the way you would tell it. All you can do is be honest with the story, man. And I mean, the artwork is beautiful. I mean, you're telling a story with this artwork, just like with the covers. Like it's drawing me in. Like I said, I will be honest with you. I did not realize that this was a puddle on the ground until I saw this, because I saw all the cropped images. It was just she's flying through the air. Seeing this the print. This beautiful print, and then seeing the spot gloss, like I'm even more excited for the story, I haven't even read a single word yet.
That's the kind of whole concept behind it, that when you read the Lucent the first time, you'll read it through, you'll probably be left if you like, you think, oh, that was cool. I don't really understand. I'm kind of in a state of confusion here, sort of Twin Peaks-esque confusion here. But then you go back and you look at it again, and that's what's happening in the cover. You see her. Okay, she's flying at me, and then you see, oh no, wait, that building is going away. She's falling towards me, and then you see after that, you're like, oh no, hang on,
those aren't clouds.
Those aren't clouds. That's the ground.
Yeah,
I'm actually looking. Oh, this is a reflect. So it's multi. That was why it was really such a conceptual kind of cover here. That's the point, and that reflects within the story. And I'm legitimately not hamming this up. When you read Painted Death and come back and read Waking Dream, you'll read Waking Dream in a whole new light, and then that will keep happening as each book continues. That's sort of like the peeling of the onion. You know, more things are revealed, more things make sense, and so you know it'll become a whole new experience once you have all the pieces of the puzzle. Obviously, you can see the full picture, but if you've only got a couple that I'm giving you in each book, you know, that's going to slowly manifest.
Well, and that's part of the journey. That's the reward the reader gets for going on the journey with the character. They get to see these events unfold. They get to see how these new events unlock these things that were mysteries when they first started this adventure. I mean, that's storytelling. That's fun. That's character development. Like, give me more of that. Yeah. You know, I love that. You know, that, like we were talking about at the beginning, getting invested in the adventure of this character, getting invested in their story. You know, why do I care about this character? Well, you know, you're going to find out why. And, you know, keep going with this character, you're going to find out, you know, even more about, you know. I'm excited, man. This is fantastic. So I know that Lucent is ongoing. Is there anything? Do you have any other concepts that you would want to work on, or is this really just the only thing that you really want to work on?
This is it. I'm coming at crowdfunding from. I don't know many others that are, you know, in this position that I'm in. I don't want to be a comic book artist. Like, that's not my, you know, profession. I want to be the artist on the Lucent. You know, I don't necessarily I don't want to be a writer. I want to write the Lucent, you know. So I'm just coming into this from, I've got this story in my head that it's been living in my head, and I've been enjoying for, you know, years. I can't even remember not having it in there now, and I want everyone else to enjoy it with me, and so that's all I'm focused on. You know, from here on out, and you know,
awesome.
I've got ideas like everyone else, but they're just, you know, there's so much potential here for something great. I think it would be a real disservice to, you know, everyone who's supporting me to go off and you know, get distracted. I'm a little distracted right now because I'm helping out Rob Arnold with his colors, but you know, they're almost you know, we've done the bulk of the work on them now, and I'm really excited to actually get back onto the Lucent finally.
That's awesome, man. And it's nice of you to help out, Rob. You know, spreading the knowledge, because I'm looking at this cover. I mean, the colors really do pull you in, and so all of the research that you did, all of the trial and error, man, it paid off. Like, the book looks gorgeous. It really does.
Yeah, you know, we were 2 months late, I think, in the end, and you know, there were printing problems, but I don't want to blame anyone else. You know, a lot of it was me just, you know, learning things and getting it right, and you only have that one chance to make that first impression. So
sure,
you know, it had to be just so, and you know, the response has been incredible. And you know, I'm so grateful, and it's kind of surprising too, because it's not what you would necessarily expect from Comicsgate. But now I'm learning, no, it should be, you know, Comicsgate, or even if you're not Comicsgate, in independent comics, you know, people want all kinds of different stories.
Yes, and
there's an audience for almost every story. So yeah,
you know, have to tell that story honestly.
Exactly. Yeah, and you know, tell it. You know, put some passion into it and put some effort into it, and you know, you should be rewarded. Thank you to everyone with the compliments in the chat too.
Oh yeah, man. Everybody's been singing your praises, man, and that's why I was so excited when I got this. And you know, I always like to reach out and see if I can get the creator to come hang out before, you know, I pop it open. So I'm super excited and thankful that you were able to come hang out tonight. That way, now I can actually jump in and read it, and you know, I can avoid, you know, I can stop avoiding spoilers. I don't think anybody's posted anything. But you know,
well, that's the thing. That's the cool thing about the Lucent. I mean, no one really knows yet. They know things and they have theories, but you can't really spoil it. And some of these theories have been really very close. that I've been hearing from. So that sounds like I've done my job well there.
Excellent. Laid different little clues and traps and diversions. Yeah. Excellent. Exactly. Oh, dude, I love a good mystery. I love me a good mystery. Did you ever read the Alfred Hitchcock detective series for kids?
No.
It was like the three little detectives, or the three detectives. Can't remember. A friend of my mom's had this entire book series, and it wasn't necessarily written by Alfred Hitchcock. It was like Alfred Hitchcock Presents. And there were these three kids. One of their parents owned a junkyard. They had a little hideout in in the junk. Right. And they would investigate little mysteries that would happen around, and they were all really well written. And sometimes they would voyage into the macabre, supernatural stuff, So I've always had a love of good mystery stories because of those. So I'm excited, man. I'm very excited.
Great to hear. Also,
do you guys? Oh, go ahead, man.
No, that was just nice to thank you.
Oh, absolutely. Do you guys have any questions in the chat before we go ahead and wrap it up?
Look, Crackhead had a funny question, which is, what is an olam? You're going to read that word olam, within the first scene there, and I just wanted to point out another thing that I do in the book is it involves kind of alternate history. I love historical, even conspiracy theory stuff, and I've included all of that. It's all woven into this book, and that's another layer of fun that I find. I mean, that stuff just sparks my imagination like nothing else. And there's a lot of the characters in this book are based off real historical characters, legends, people. So for inquiring minds, they can actually get another layer of understanding, potentially, of who's who and what's what, just based on their names. Were they so inclined to go and look those people up and see how did they slot into history? Where are they? All that's I find this stuff so much fun. I don't know if anyone else does, but
dude, this sounds like it's right up my alley. Holy shit!
To me, knowing all this stuff, it's a bit what's that game? Assassin's Creed. You know how you play, and then you're interacting with real historical figures. It just adds that extra layer to it. I love all that stuff. It's
that verisimilitude that connects it to the real world. Somebody will be like, oh wait, I've heard about that, and it connects it to their greater world. Which also brings it back to the nature of the story, the breaking the fourth wall, and connecting with the reader. This is awesome. Guys, do you see? This is the passion that involved. This is what happens when you care about your story. This is what happens when you're having fucking fun telling your story. You know?
And I've got to shout out Joe Fulton in the chat there. Without his help, I mean, this would not have been anything like it is. I brought Joe in late, like an idiot, but I mean, we got it in time. We worked so hard on making sure that what was in this first book, because this is like a chessboard. You got to put all the pieces on the table in a story right up front. You don't want any late inclusions. That's lazy storytelling.
Yes, I agree.
It's got to be there from the beginning so that it has impact at the end. And with this story, Joe realized straight away, okay, we really need to make sure with this story. He's been absolutely an essential part of the Lucent team.
Hail Joe. Yeah, hail. And he knew the book series that I was talking about, the three investigators. That's what it was.
He knows everything like that.
Hell yeah. Good. I love it. That's one of the things I love about this scene. So much knowledge. All just swirling around. It's fantastic. Hell yeah. I cannot wait to dive in. All right, guys, if there are no questions, I will go ahead and we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. But first, I got a trailer that I want to play for you guys. I tried to go full screen on the actual the Indiegogo page, but it wouldn't let me go with this one. So I'll just go ahead and share the YouTube video itself.
Oh yes, this is my rain on me all the positive vibes, please.
Shower the positivity.
The Lucent Waking Dream by Michael Bancroft, who is a great animator.
First book in the Lucent series is a 76-page, man. You're going all in.
This is really well done. And the fact that you do all of it is kind of, it's mind-boggling.
You write pencil, ink, color.
The quality of the artwork.
Yeah, we're just going to go ahead and embarrass you with the trailer here.
Is superb.
Great artwork.
Beautiful.
I mean, look how good that looks, John.
Real qualified dude. Yeah, I like his stuff a lot.
And I love the movement. Like, you can just, again, still images that have movement to them are so powerful, man. This is top tier stuff. I mean, there's so much motion I feel from that image right there, you know?
Yeah, he spent a lot of time on that.
Yeah, those buildings look really great. I'm always kind of going, like, how good are they at what this is? Because I know how they're doing it, but how good are they at what they're doing? You, sir, are very fucking good at what you do.
This is great. Look at the environments here.
Yeah, really good stuff.
Well, I love the color stuff going on. Again, for me as a cinema person, it does speak to me.
This stuff's super cinematic, too. I look at this. This looks like a still out of a movie, man.
And it looks dark and mysterious and what is going on?
Let's talk perspective for like 2 seconds on your cover.
The camera angles, the framing, the motion.
This is great.
The colors. I love what you're doing, man. So Cinema Seal, cool.
I'm super impressed.
You're kind of Babe Ruth in it. Like, there's a lot of people that play baseball, but you're grand slamming it. And no problem, man. I just think people need to get a hold of this book because they're gonna wish they did.
I'm gonna start promoting this every day.
And look at this, dude. Holy shit.
Please consider the Lucent Waking Dream. It looks top notch, and even John is absolutely flabbergasted and speechless at this.
Yeah, better backgrounds than I'll ever draw, believe that.
According to this, I am now backer number 508. I'm very stoked about this book, dude. I can't wait to get it.
I've backed this campaign. And I thoroughly recommend that you do too.
I love this. Guys, consider backing this.
Awesome. Well, I mean, praise well deserved, man. I can't wait to read the story and can't wait to see where you go with it next, man. Oh, God, stop talking to me, YouTube. Sorry. I thought I turned autoplay off. All of a sudden, I'm hearing another video in the back of my head. I'm like, what the hell's going on? All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up so Michael can get back to working on more Lucent for you guys. Dude, thank you so much for coming to hang out. This has been a fucking blast.
I had fun. It's been a while since I've done like just a Lucent show. It's good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great to talk about this stuff. I can't wait till more of the stories revealed so we can actually publicly get into all this with readers. It's going to be so much fun.
So after
we did it with
book 2,
we did it with Lord Crackhead on his channel because all those guys had read it, and yeah, it was 2 hours. It was so much fun. Excellent. Hearing their theories and all that sort of stuff. It was just great.
All right. Well, I'm gonna have to go. Check that out. Lord Crackhead, if you want to drop the link to that one in the chat there, so people can go check that out. That would be cool. Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you so much for coming to hang out. I appreciate you guys, and we will see you later.
Cheers, guys. Bye.
Seems that envy is my sin.
Oh, what's in the box? What's in the fucking box?